So, game number 3, I think this will be the end for the side of WE, to be honest. This semi-finals has been dominated by FPX. We do have the Viego come in first pick, which is very, very standard. We'll probably get the Zins out in return. And since the Trundle is banned, you can't really... there isn't a better option. And Lee Sin being banned as well. So we'll probably see... Oh, Rise come out. Maybe the Zin here. Okay. I mean, they just they knew that they wanted the Rise anyway, so they just let him pick his own champion. He's probably very, very tilted right now. In response here, I mean, TF is available, and also Kennen is available too. So maybe they just run it back with kind of the Aphelios though. Maybe they go for Aphelios because they don't want it to get banned in the third rotation, and they did pick the Thresh as well, so they are saving mid lane until later on, which, you know, is a little bit like strange for them. But I mean, if you can get Aphelios Thresh, it's such a good combination. And I saw for the longest time they were running Aphelios with random things, and it just really weren't playing out. Whereas you need that Thresh. Now the Ezreal in response instead of the Varus this time, so they're changing it up just a little bit. Oh, never mind. We do get the Varus peeking its head in there. So now for the side of WE, you need to get rid of the TF. And now this is a case of they're going to hammer home on Doinby's champion pool. So they need to get rid of the Twisted Fate now. So maybe we see something spicy come out for Doinby actually. In terms of FPX, they need to probably get rid of things like, maybe they get rid of the Blitz this time. Leona, Braum, all really, really good bans. Just pinch that support pool. They did go with the Blitz, which is nice to see. Now, I mean, bans here, I mean, I'm not sure what else to ban away from Doinby, to be completely honest. But maybe instead they just get rid of, okay. Oh, he does play a lot of Galio, actually. Maybe this is, maybe he just whips out like Trin mid. I mean, he's not going to, otherwise that'd already be a known thing. But now they just ban away either Leona or Braum. I think I would prefer banning away probably Braum here, to be honest, just because he really, really does shut down Viego. But even if they do ban the Leona away, because I do think Leona is slightly better than Braum, they will be in a position now that they can, you know, they can play around the Braum a bit. They have their mid lane to bring out and their top lane, so both their solo lanes can basically shut down a Braum by just going kind of a poke kind of comp instead. So what else do they need? So jungle, mid, AD. So they also need top. So maybe we see a Gangplank come here as well. Ooh, Rel. Okay. Okay. I mean, Rel is very, very good. But Jace did go all the way through. So they did pinch Doinby's champ pool, but then that allowed Naguri to get his Jace. So, and then now Victor. Oh, I mean, Orianna is still available. And it does kind of go well, it does go pretty good with the Viego, and it is also a hard counter to Rise. As soon as Orianna gets that ultimate that, you know, does damage at 6, and Rise gets that ultimate that, you know, does no damage at 6, then she ends up in a position where she can just win the matchup. And then later on into the game at level 9, apparently she just completely ruins him. So obviously Rise does bring a bit more utility to the game, but Orianna's team fighting potential with her ultimate is incredibly good. Now, one of the other big things here is if we actually look at the side of WE's comp, they're going to be looking to engage on the side of FPX. So Orianna doesn't really need as much ball delivery in this game, because it's kind of like a case of she can put a ball down as they're looking to engage, and then she can get a big ultimate off from that. So the zone control that she gets off her Q, since it's basically terrain that you can no longer walk into due to her W damage and level 6, it just means that she can do so much. Now, honestly, I think the chances of WE winning this game, off the back of being tilted, and being countered in mid lane, which is kind of the main point, the main reason they ban things out over and over, is pretty important. So I think Doinby's going to have a great game, to be fair. We do see an engage straight away. They're trying to burn Thresh's flash, but they can't. They do manage to get a Raptor ward down. In terms of runes, what are we looking at? A lot of inspiration in this game. Jesus, man. What the? Inspiration is balanced, by the way. Look at that. That's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. There's only one person that doesn't have inspiration, and it's Aphelios because he's got the double healing. That's hilarious. But this also makes it very hard to time summoners because there's now so many people with Cosmic Insight. So that's a juicy 40 seconds off your flash timer, which is a substantial amount. It's going to give you the opportunity to do a lot more in kind of like those positions. So here we can see Breathe walks up. Nagori is just going to zone him out though, but Wukong does have massive amounts of damage early. Nagori did get his W first though, so he can actually do so much. Jeez, okay. Okay, calm down. Don't go too crazy. We don't want to just hard win top and then it'd be boring, come on. But here, see, the wave is in a really bad position as well since Nagori has actually pulled the wave. So now Breathe is going to get slow pushed on because he went way too aggressive and took all that aggro from the minions. So obviously remember like in this situation here, like say for example if we take all of the aggro from these minions, then all of a sudden these minions aren't going to be hitting these, which then means that this pushes in like that. So taking a trade, and especially we'll just use that actual trade that went on in top lane as the example. What we can see here is this turns out really bad for Breathe because unless you can fully commit to killing here, which you can't do into a Jace, and you should know this into the matchup, what ends up happening here now is these minions are hitting these because Nagori is way out of range to take aggro from these, but Breathe is directly on top of the wave, so he's taking it. So what ends up happening here is this wave ends up then pushing in, where because of the HP advantage, and if Breathe walks up and does anything, he dies, Nagori is now in the position where he can get slow push started from here, push it in, and then just dive him and kill him, considering he's very low on HP. Now this is really, really important because this shows that Breathe doesn't understand how to play the Wukong Jace matchup. Or to be honest, this isn't even specifically matchup. I guess it is because he expected to do more damage, I suppose, but overall this is why that's very bad. And now we can see this slow push slowly building into Breathe, and Nagori's popped his potions and he's looking to do things now. Breathe doesn't really want to pop his biscuit yet because he has full mana. So he doesn't just want to pop it for the HP, but he does have Doran's shield. Does need to take damage for that to be healing him up though, but as we can see, we already have a huge CS lead for the Jace in top lane, and he's just going to be able to EQ him and he's just going to be doomed. So here we go, see, like, chunked out even more, and Viego is actually coming up to try and get this. Will they manage to stop him? They do actually manage to stop him here, and this is pretty important that they stop his recall, because if they stop his recall, he can't TP back and get this wave. But Tian is jumping on Beishang. He has W'd the red buff though, so he's just going to instantly jump over it. This is one of the kind of annoying things with Xin Zhao. We do see Shanks kind of moving up, but again, Doinby will end up ruining him a bit. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough mana to continue that fight, but now it's crazy because basically off Breathe fucking up a level 1, top lane is completely over for him, which now means that the top side of Xin Zhao's jungle is completely gone as well. So it doesn't really matter that Doinby is losing this early. He's meant to lose it early, but when he gets to that level 6, he's going to be able to do so much. So overall, I mean, very good mechanical gameplay and kind of lane knowledge coming in from the Guri. And okay, so Jace is looking to TP behind now. They think that he's alone in here, but now the Jace is just going to come in and kill Xin Zhao. Okay, maybe not. They are 2v3. Tian might be in a position where he dies here, but Beishang is going to drop because he just walks into a Xin Zhao. Now the Viego is going to... Oh, he does get CC before he manages to get to the Xin Zhao body. Nagori is just going to try and run out, but he's in a position where he can actually fight. We see a TP coming in from Doinby, and Wukong just isn't strong enough to take this, I don't think. Nice prioritization for Nagori to go on. Oh, he targeted the clone. It's good prioritization to go on top of the Rise, just because you know the Rise doesn't have a clone, but this was really good. The double, was that double flash? to get in there, but Aphelios is just going to get a kill again in bot lane, getting 2v2 double kills. I think he does actually get this as well, especially considering he's got blue gun, and there we see it. This is one of the things with Aphelios. As soon as you get them with that graviton, you just instantly pull out the flamethrower and just go nuts. Flamethrower is, I think, the highest damaging ability, especially in a team fight. When Aphelios was actually released, these numbers were way too high, and you could actually use just your flamethrower R, and it would just completely destroy the entire enemy comp. And then we had the meta where he abused Death's Dance and Red Form and just never died. So here we do see the engage come in through there. We see a flash come out from both of them at the same time to lock up Chris, but they've just committed so much onto killing the support. It makes no sense, because now the ADC is just going to kill them both. So this is the thing that's crazy. Like, the fact that they put so much into that support is just terrible. It just goes to show how tilted they are off this game. And this is the thing, they did play very well, but now they're just incredibly tilted. He does manage to get the kill onto Chris, but it doesn't really matter killing the support at this point if you're going to die and lose even more waves. And this is the thing, this was a very, very good rotation from Chris, because Aphelios was still alive in that bot lane, which meant that he could push the wave out, get it in a good position, then reset. So that gives his support a complete roam timer, due to the fact that that wave will come into him no matter what if it's crashed under the tower and it's a decent size and doesn't reset. So it's a very, very good kind of roam timer from the support, and it manages to pay off. He does die, but it really doesn't matter. Giving one kill over to a Wukong at this point, when he's this far down on CS, is... I mean, it's not optimal, but it's not too bad either. We see Tian just doing everything he can to get here as quick as possible, but the Thresh Hook is there. We get the Lantern come in from the back as well. Aphelios doesn't have Flash, but Tian does come and clean the kill, and they end up with a 1-for-2, which, you know, isn't really that bad, considering I think Aphelios did get one of them kills there. So at this point as well, the Viego is getting so strong that as soon as Orianna gets into a point where she's hard winning this matchup, he's going to be able to do absolutely anything he wants. So he's just cleaning it off. So here we see the dive is coming down. They do wait a bit, but the thing is, they just don't have the minion wave to take this dive. And now the Thresh Lantern is very, very well positioned at that top, so that he gets as much space as possible when he uses it. But Rel instantly gets killed by Viego as well, and it just turns out terrible there. They're very tilted. Now Ryze is, you know, pretty strong. He does have 3 kills now, but I don't think he's going to be in a position where he can win this. Now, Shanks is actually pretty good for the side of WE, and usually he's a very, very big kind of carry potential. I think in maybe like a year or so, he's going to be an extremely good contested mid laner in LPL. I think he's very, very good. Kind of just the way he plays, and the fact that he never really puts himself in a position so that he can die or even get damaged. As we can see, his spacing here is really, really good, considering he's doing as much as he can to just try and do damage while this Rel just ints. But even here, he just does damage to get his phase rush and then runs away. I think that was his phase rush anyway. They should show cooldown on the summoners on the side. Not the summoners, I mean the keystones. So that we know who's got what up. It'd make it a lot better for knowing when, you know, somebody can engage, or how many stacks they have on Conqueror would be nice to see as well. But I do think that could end up being a little bit too cluttered, to be honest. So a huge wave coming for Jace. He's just going to clear this up now, and now he's going to have a huge CS lead. Like, as long as he doesn't miss any, which he's not going to. So he's now nearly 20 CS up on this Wukong. So he's going to be doing so much damage, especially when he gets to his clip spike. Now, the Wukong doesn't need to worry too much about it now, but as soon as he gets his, I'd probably go with the clips. Or even if he just goes Mana Moon. It's going to be really, really important. Now, he does pick up Steel Cats. Now, this is because Wukong still does a massive amount of damage, and he also reduces armor too. So you do kind of have to build some armor early, otherwise he will end up doing so much damage to you since he'll start eating into your base armor. Which base armor is more than base MR, but... Oh, sorry, it scales better, but... So we do see a big team fight here. Beishang does manage to pick off the Viego, but does Aphelios manage to do anything? He doesn't. He does manage to get out, but it's not enough. The Wukong does manage to get on top of them. Naguri is in the back, though. Can they really look to get something off here? Doinby doesn't have enough mana, but he does have his Shockwave. So here we see he doesn't really manage to get it off. I thought that was going to be a really big one, but it was a little underwhelming. He didn't really have much mana anyway. But he is just going to come up, clear this wave out, and then reset now. He has gone with his Soul Shoe straight away, so he has more trading power. But Rise actually TP's top lane right now just to get as many plates as he can. And Beishang is just taking the dragon on his own. Which again, this dragon is pretty important because, again, it's a mountain. And the Rise is huge, so the longer he can survive, especially considering he will probably get Zhonya's second item. So the longer he can survive, the better. So here was a replay. Tian got completely caught out here. By the fact that the Rives came down as well, and they just do so much damage to him. It's unreal. And then obviously we see in the bot lane, Aphelios has to use his flash to get out of there, even though the Thresh Lantern was there. So he should have Lanterned and then flashed, which is really not a good sign. That's really not good. Tian is looking to try and get something in this top lane though. Breathe does a lot of damage. Well, I mean, it's a fair amount of damage to Naguri, but it's not going to be too big. It's going to allow him to actually just kill... he is going to be able to get that massive amount of damage off there. I mean, he's just going to be able to clear that wave instantly. We do see a fight come down between Tian and Beishang, but just nothing comes out of it. Again, Doinby very low on mana. He does have his lost chapter now though. But he's just going to keep speeding this Viego up as well. So Viego can kind of be ball delivery if you speed him up and then he uses W to dash in. But it's not really as reliable as somebody like, for example, J4, who has massive ball delivery. Okay, so they do manage to get a Herald Charge off, which will grant the gold over to the Xin Zhao, due to the fact that he was the one that put the Herald down and nobody else was in range to actually get that gold. They are looking to rotate on bot maybe, but they do use a Rise ult to try and catch Aphelios, and they do manage to get him. This is the thing with Rise, like his ultimate is such a huge kind of like utility ultimate that it's just so important for these kind of games where they're just kind of going about now. I mean, WE are actually looking in an okay position. I don't want to say they're going to win because I still don't think they're going to be able to win against the FPX roster, especially considering the problem we have here is, okay, great, this Rise is 5-0, that's amazing, like he's so strong, like great, but how is Rise ever going to walk up as a short-range mage against not only an Orianna, but an Aphelios and a Jace too? It's just going to be too hard for him to actually play this game out, which obviously is kind of sad to say because he's playing very well and I think he's probably the best player on this team by a sizable margin, but it's just very, very rough. I mean, Beishang is great, but I think I've only really seen Beishang pop off when he's played like Olaf. Who did they play against? EDG. So, Olaf game he did well. Actually, he had a good volley game. Okay, Olaf and Volley Bear, pretty much. His Zen, it's kind of on and off. So, I mean, Varus does pick up his Mana Moon now, which he is pretty low on stacks, but he's going to be able to stack it faster. We see Gold Rinker coming out for Zinzao. So, I mean, Aphelios is on a pickaxe. I mean, so that will probably go into a collector, obviously. I mean, we do see a big engage here, though. The Aphelios does manage to grab him and manages to get a long-range shot off with Sniper just to make sure that this Varus can't get into this fight. And this has led to FPX having a huge HP advantage. Now, they are a little bit pincered here, and Aphelios isn't near, but they are just looking for a fight around this Herald right now since their team fighting power is actually so big. So they're just looking to see if they can potentially do something here. Unfortunately, they don't manage to. But Beishang, what is he doing? Why would you walk that way? I'm dazed. They just got the Herald and he just walks. What? Like, surely he should have known that they were sat there still. Crazy. That was such an insane mistake. Rise luckily manages to pick up this entire wave, but he doesn't hit the cannon, so he misses it. What? They are so tilted at this point of the game. Doinby's just chasing down Breathe. Crisp is coming as well with the CC. We do see a TP come out, another TP from the side of FPX though, so I really don't think they're in a position where they can win this fight. WE just get completely collapsed. And FPX now get a sizable gold lead off crazy disadvantages. Rise TP'd in as well. That's terrible. That went over to the Orianna as well, who is the one person that's going to really ruin him, because she has so much range now that she's just going to completely force him out of the game. Man, it's so upsetting to see. I expected a lot more from WE. We do see the Eclipse power spike come out of Jace now. I just expected a little bit more. I thought they were so good before, but kind of sad. Like, here, why would you walk this way? There's a reason why Breathe didn't walk this way. Where is he going to? His bottom camps? Just use the Herald to reset. You get Baron recall, and then this was just disaster for the side of WE. Doinby, obviously, his ball goes wide, but it doesn't matter. He was going to use it to ult him anyway. And then, yeah, Naguri just comes in and does so much. The Rise gets caught by an amazing Thresher, and he can Zonya's, but he's never going to survive here. And Doinby gets the kill. That last auto. And Oriana's auto's hurt now. I like that Doinby has also gone into a needlessly large rod. Okay, Naguri is 1v5. Ah, terrible. Like, why were they in that position anyway? The Viego also wasn't there. Neither was the Aphelios or the Orianna. They just shouldn't have been there. Okay, Aphelios manages to get the cleanse to run away. He is on red-white, which means, you know, they could look to fight, but it'd be very, very risky. He has picked up his lethality as well, though. They do manage to use a Herald to get tier 2 bot. That does also give 600 gold over to the Rise, which is a very, very large amount. They actually managed to get another Herald charge as well. But they do manage to return that tower in topside. So it's not going to matter as much that they got the tier 2 in bot. Now, the thing is as well, it is an Infernal Soul, so FPX could play around that advantage considering they do heavily outscale in terms of team comp. Not only by the champions, like for example the Orianna into the kind of Rise or the Jace into the Wukong, but also the Aphelios into the Varus. So they're in a very, very rough position, and the only kind of person that they have that's doing any considerable damage isn't going to be able to play this game. And we'll see this later on as well. Like, as soon as they start team fighting, we'll see this kind of come into play and kind of show how difficult it's actually going to be for Rise in this team fight. But I think this is 3-0 semi-finals to the side of so they are just going to go and take the red buff away from the side of WE. They can just keep punishing. Tian has played very well this game. And the thing is, Tian is very comfortable on the Viego too, so... Player gold. Shanks is very, very large. But Tian and Naguri are also huge, and botlane has a massive advantage too. Now the problem with botlane having this advantage right now is because after Varus gets, say, 2 items, 3 items, that's kind of his biggest power spike. He's a kind of mid-game kind of harassment champ. Like, well, he's okay early game into certain picks in lane, and then when it does come to the mid-game, he has this massive ultimate that can completely change a fight, but then when it comes to say, for example, if he ults Aphelios, he's just going to cleanse it and do a massive amount of damage anyway, so that's really not going to stick, and Aphelios is going to out-damage him massively too, so I think it becomes very, very difficult for them to really do that much. Now, Orianna is on 6 stacks, she probably won't get a Magi, she does have a Seraph, so we do see Tian get a really, really good pick, and here we see Tian goes in and Orianna uses the ultimate on him. We do end up getting a heal come out from the side of Varus from that. Rise also TP to get here. He's going to ult them in, and he ulted the Wukong in, and now he's just going to die. I mean, Aphelios gets a really, really big ult off. Rel does go in, but Aphelios just flashes away instantly, and that is the game. Again, how did Rise function in that team fight? We'll see on the replay. On the replay, let's just focus on the Rise, and we'll see that he just can't play, he can't function. So I don't know what happened with W's drafts here, but they're going to lose double objective and get aced off that fight. You just can't come back from that, not against his team. I would like to see now Doinby get a Magi's. I mean, it's not, he doesn't need it, but he already has a stopwatch. So here we see in the replay, we see that the Rise does TP to the dragon actually, so never mind. So see, he walks up here, and now we can see that this is... So he comes down here and gets this run warp up, but he kind of walks up and see, here we can see he doesn't take that, otherwise he died. Just used it to get the Wukong in, but he can never walk up. Like, see how he just can't do damage here. Like, there's nothing that he can do. He does flash in to try and get something off, but he instantly just dies for it, and this is the problem. Their draft is just too poor. Like, too poor. It's not hard draft gap, but I mean, it is actually, it is pretty hard. It is very hard actually. It's just a shame, because I do think WE had massive potential, especially around this mid laner. But now we'll see. They're just going to push this mid out. And yeah, they do have Baron now too, so they're going to rotate straight into this bot one. As soon as they get this, Doinby is just going to keep this cannon alive just so that he can take it. Aphelios did ult, Varus had to flash away from it, so now Varus has no flash for another fight, but Aphelios also doesn't have any life. They do use those double control wards on top of the lantern just so that Aphelios can't click it, because obviously if he right clicks in that area, he's just going to auto the control wards instead of clicking the lantern. Now that's a very, very bad time to int though, because now they're 4v5 with their Barons, so it loses a lot of the Baron pressure that they would have had, especially with Aphelios in his sniper form, which I'm fairly sure is what he died on. So Breathe just trying to kind of do something here. They are 5v4 to be honest, so they just shouldn't be looking to fight whatsoever until Aphelios comes up. 2 more Barons gone and 40-second death timers. It's very sloppy from FPX. So it feels like when they get given this win condition and it's like this is how you win, they just kind of panic a little bit, to be honest. But here we can see the Wukong in the back was just kind of stopping Doinby from doing anything in this kind of fight. And then even then, see in the back, he does just drop to him and give away, I think that was 900 gold shutdown. Oh, and he did get Medjai's. These are so annoying. He did get Medjai's as well. That's so sad. That's so sad. He lost all his stacks, but he still gets some penetration off it, which is still very, very good. But I mean, I like to see it. I like to see that he went Medjai's. Do I think? I mean, the problem is the Medjai's was great, but he was just way too like they were just fighting when they shouldn't. Especially considering the Aphelios was dead as well. Aphelios is a massive amount of their damage this game. He is building into his IE too. So Shank's actually going to get caught by Tian. The amount of movement speed in this champ, and again, instantly dead. Oh, it's so sad. But I mean, good drafting from the side of FPX in order to kind of force him into this position. But very sad for him. Very sad for him. So now they're just going to look to push these waves out. There's no real objective to go for yet. That TP from the Jace was completely grief in my opinion, but they're just looking to end this game out, I guess. Like, why TP there when the dragon is available? Like, he just wants to be in the fight and just kind of walk around with his team more. I get it, but the dragon is coming up. He could have gone into top lane and started pushing that down, locked somebody in this top lane, and then just TP'd down to this Baron for the 3rd Infernal. Now, as I said before, if they actually get Infernal Soul this game, then, you know, it's going to be very, very hard for the side of WE to do anything, since they're just going to get blown up by Aphelios' ult on his own, so... And now they're just going to get this 3rd dragon. Again, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but they're only 1 away from getting the soul now, which as soon as this soul comes through, the amount of damage that Orianna alone is going to be outputting means that they really just can't do anything. So WE holding the wave. I mean, I say holding the wave. They just want Varus to clear it off instantly, just so it resets. Now, they are going to potentially look to... I mean, to be fair, WE have much better vision control over the Baron right now. FPX really need to go and get that vision back and just kind of take control. I don't like that Thresh is going to clear vision alone. I think this is very, very grief. Due to the fact if somebody was there waiting in the pit for him to come and clear that vision away, they'd just instantly kill him, so... This is going to go over to the side of FPX. Oh, that was a really bad smite from Tian though. It was on 5 HP when Aphelios finished it. Ryze is doing whatever he can. He's just split pushing. That's all he can do this game. Like, Wukong was trying to clear this wave in mid, but he just wasn't quick enough to it. It's just very sad. They're all just going to reset, spend their gold now. I mean, there's 3 items for Doinby, and he has his Verdant. But the thing is, obviously, the Medjai's also gives him Magic Pen, so he is doing a ridiculous amount right now. He's on 15 Magic Pen just from his items, on top of the 18 from his boots, and then... oh, sorry, 10, sorry, from his items. Oh, wait, no, I'm going crazy. 15. It's been a long day. Then on top of that, the 6 that he gets from his Ludens puts him to a fat 21, and then on top of that, the 18 from his boots puts him on a nice 39 magic penetration. And at this point, they haven't built any... I mean, we do have some MR in mid lane and in support, but their main carries have no MR. The Wukong doesn't have any. I mean, Xin Zhao isn't a main carry, but he doesn't have any. And obviously, Varus doesn't either. Now, the Rise, that means that everybody around the Rise is going to get blown up, and then he's just going to slowly die as well. So they do manage to get a nice ult onto Chris, but nobody's there to follow up on it. He nearly dies to the Varus arrow, though. Is he going to just reset off this? Yeah. So the Orianna is going to reset as well and finish her Banshees. So now we're up to a fat 20 magic pen. One of the big things, obviously Doinby is very fed this game, but Rise is more fed. But one of the big things is Rise has full items to buy, whereas Medjai's is only 1600 gold. And that's one of the reasons why it's so good. 1600 gold, 5 magic pen, and a massive amount of AP. The Aphelios just clears away the red buff. Almost instantly, to be honest. And Shanks is caught. Oh, God, what is that? I hope his PayPal's ready. Because that was unbelievable. Orianna Shockwave does go wide, though. But they do still have Baron, and they have Pokin, Aphelios, and Jace. I think Jace's going to reset for item and then TP back. Oh, he's just going to reset for a stopwatch. I mean, that's actually worth it due to the fact that they're now 5v4. And he can just go crazy here, and they can even dive on double towers. Aphelios misses the ultimate. Very, very bad positioning of that ultimate, to be honest. They're just going to instantly clear away this inhibitor now. Just look to end. They managed to get a hook onto Beishang. Obviously, Xin Zhao's ultimate is pretty broken, though. And he manages to actually get out from that, which is really, really sad, considering that was such a good pick. And that would have been the game-ending play. But Naguri dies without even using his stopwatch to the Varus. Now, that's really not something you want to see. But now that they have this mid inhibitor, they can go and just get this Infernal Soul. And there's not really much that can be done about it now. Aphelios can potentially just solo it. He does manage to just quickly pop away that that shield on the crab. But yeah, like, why is he here alone when all of his team are elsewhere? It makes no sense. Nice Q from the Thresh, though. Choosing the timing very well. But Rise just uses ult to get the Rel out. I mean, at this point of the game, they're just going to go into this top wave right now. I would have liked to see Jace go bot and just push that wave in as well. But one thing I have realized about FPX is overall this time, even if a split is the right play, they just much prefer to group as 5, which, you know, is completely viable. I mean, they are nearly 10,000 gold in the lead right now. Jace just, that Q just goes in the middle of all of them but doesn't hit any of them. But now they're just going to look to get this top tower. The bot wave is pushing in. Nobody went to clear it. And the super's in mid lane as well. They might just actually look to use 2 of these waves in order to end the game, to be honest. Aphelios does have his ultimate available. Orianna also with a really nice shockwave into the Aphelios ult. There we go. I mean, that doesn't really kill them, but it forces them away so that they can get double tower and then get the Nexus. So, I mean, do I think FPX look dominant? Yes. do I think WE just looked shit? Yeah, also. I mean, very dominant semi-finals game. We will close the YouTube video there. But yeah, nice games.